Hey everyone, John here, doing a video that's something a little different. This is going to be a vlog style video, doing sort of a video response to another YouTuber, a popular YouTuber who I've seen a few videos from, a girl named Caitlin Loves Disney, a young woman who has like 40,000 subscribers, more than that, does videos talking about like a lot of the Disney Channel stuff. Now, this is a YouTuber I don't really watch regularly. Her stuff, not totally my thing. Now, like about 3 months back, she did a video. It's called Why Dog with a Blog is Trash. And I thought I would kind of offer her a little constructive criticism. I don't have anything against her, but the video just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So I want to talk about it, give kind of some of my defense of the show, and give her a little constructive criticism. Sorry about the beeping that you might hear. I don't know, it's a smoke alarm. We need to get those things fixed. Okay, so in this video, this young woman, Caitlin, she basically starts with a video where she's talking about how when Dog with a Blog first came out, she was with a lot of these people out there who she saw, who were saying it was like the worst show on Disney Channel. It's not on at the moment, but at the time was considered like one of the worst shows on the Disney Channel. Which I don't agree with. I like the show, which you would know if you follow me on social media or saw my review of the finale, the series finale I did like a year or so ago. Now, basically, she said that she was kind of with all these people, but then it occurred to her that she had never really watched the show. Which, alright, I've done before. It's kind of a dumb thing to do, but, you know, I've made that mistake before, so I'm not going to criticize her too harshly for that. But she decided to, you know, try to fix that by actually sitting down and watching the show. The thing is, she only sat down and watched the first episode to make her review. Now, more recently, like a month ago, she did another video, sort of in a similar vein, called Why Bunked is Trash, which if you see my videos on Bunked, you know that that's one I agree with. But in the video, Why Bunked is Trash, she defended herself against the criticism that I guess some of her followers were giving her, where they criticized her for only judging the show based on the first episode, same thing she went to do with Bunked in that video. And they said that they had said that she should try to at least watch a whole season, which I can sort of agree with, and I'll get into why. Now, the thing is, I've seen a lot of Dog with a Blog in recent years, and I would actually say that it's a show that I think is pretty consistent in quality. There are a couple lesser episodes, and I think one of the episodes that is among the weaker ones, in my opinion, is actually the first episode, the one she based her criticism on the show. Now, let me say that she doesn't actually say that the show is trash, despite the title of the video, which I think is misleading, another thing I have an issue with, but I'll get more into that in a little bit. But she basically watches the show, and based on this one episode, she says that she made a few criticisms of it, which I'll get into, and she came out of it saying, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought. There were a few things I liked about it. She said she likes kind of the characters and the family dynamic and stuff like that. But she had a few issues. But she said at the end of the day, the show just kind of really wasn't necessarily bad, just kind of not so much for her, and not a show she feels the need to watch again. Now, let me get into the whole argument about the first episode thing. Now, Caitlin, I understand the point that you made in the second video about Bunked, where you basically said that the reason it's okay to judge a show by the first episode is because the first episode is basically what the networks are supposed to be using to sell the show, and what the show is basically using to sell itself. And I understand that point, but unfortunately, the reality is, in my opinion, a lot of times it doesn't turn out that way. A lot of times the first episode is really just something where they're kind of getting started, they're still working some things out, and they have to spend a good amount of time kind of more focusing on things on like introducing the characters and the settings and the premise, and they don't necessarily they're not necessarily able to have the time to fit in just a really well done standalone story. There are a lot of instances where this does happen, but I can think of a lot of examples, particularly with a lot of other like Disney kidcoms, where the show started off not so great of the first episode, but then like every episode after that, or at least a little while later, it got better. Even a show like, say, Liv and Maddie, for instance. The first few episodes of that show I thought were pretty weak, kind of meh. But then I ended up liking the show. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was just kind of decent, and I think it went on to be, one of the better Disney Channel sitcoms out there. Girl Meets World, another show I really like a lot, started off with an episode that was just okay, and that's like one of my favorite recent Disney Channel sitcoms. Andy Mack had the same thing, in my opinion, started off just kind of okay, but right after that first episode, got a lot better. So I think that's why it's kind of unfair for you to judge the show based on the one episode. Now, here's the thing. You go into this show, I think, I feel like you wanted to give it a chance, but I think you also kind of want to make this video, which I think is why you use the misleading title of calling the show trash, despite the fact that you acknowledge in the video that it's just kind of not your thing. So you kind of went into, I feel like, looking for things to criticize, and you brought up a couple criticisms that, so some of your criticisms you brought up, you said that you don't see a reason why the dog should talk, and you thought that he didn't really have anything good to say. I mean, I disagree with that. I like Stan. I think he's a very funny character, and it can make for some interesting comedic scenarios. A lot of the times it does just feel like a typical family sitcom, but they do a lot of interesting stuff with the whole dog talking thing. Especially like in the last season, there's some good stuff with that, particularly the series finale, which is one I'd recommend you watch. There's definitely some good stuff with that, and in a number of episodes, it can make for some interesting, dramatic stuff. So, and this is once again, I think, why it's good to watch more than just one episode. I would say, like a lot of your fans point out to you, at least one season. You said the animation of like the dog, Stan, like talking, wasn't that good. Honestly, not something I never really noticed before, so I don't think it was bad enough for it really bother me. But even so, I'd say that's a small thing, so not necessarily a good enough reason to dislike the entire show. That was just one point you made, but, I don't know. You also brought up, let me see. You also kind of said that it was interesting how you thought that they didn't really give a reason why the dog could talk. This is something that I think they do touch on in later episodes. Now, I don't believe they ever actually kind of give a full-blown reason, but I think it does contribute to the show in a sense that it adds sort of that mystery element to it, where they're kind of trying to figure out, like, where did this happen? Like, there's an episode where, like, at one point they think they know where this happened, and then they realize that that wasn't actually the case. It's something that comes up in the later seasons, and again, the series finale. And once again, I think there are a number of things here about the show, some of your issues that I think could be addressed and could be something that are improved upon if you would give the show a chance. I'm not saying you have to go and like watch every episode, because I don't necessarily think that if you don't like the first episode, you're going to end up liking the show in general, but I think maybe you would kind of find out that maybe you might like it a little more than you think you do. I don't want to spoil the show, so I'm not going to get into everything, but I think some of your questions do kind of get answered, and some of the things that you are wondering about do happen. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that a person can't review a pilot episode as long as they just treat that review like sort of a first impression sort of thing. I've done that before, but if you're going to make a video called Why Dog with a Blog is Trash and only judge based on the first episode, I don't think that's totally fair. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a review of a show, not a review of an episode. They're two different things. They're related, of course. It's an episode of the show, but they're not the same thing. Do I think you should have to watch the whole show? No, but like at least a decent chunk of episodes, maybe a season. And I also consider the fact that this is a show that had been on for 3 years, the time you making this video, and I guess, that was how long it ran for, 3 years. You're judging it by like a small fraction of the show, and with all the show available, I don't know, I just feel like maybe you could have done better with that. Let me think if there's anything else I want to say. As far as episodes that I would recommend, because you asked people about that, I would say, well, I did enjoy the series finale, but you might want to watch some others before that. There's a number of very good episodes kind of like towards like the later seasons, like season 3. You have stuff like, what is it? You're Not My Sister Anymore, which is which is maybe my favorite. Stan has puppies, which is, as the title suggests, involves him, having some puppies. There's an episode that I like for mostly comedic reasons called The Puppies Talk. The title kind of spoils that one as well, unfortunately. As far as interesting ships in the show, no, there's not really too much of that. It's more kind of it's more kind of based on the family, and there aren't even really that many major kind of recurring characters that come up. Some of the characters have love interests, but there wasn't really any kind of big ships like that. As far as romances between any characters, it kind of mostly focuses on the family aspect. Obviously, there's not going to be any shipping there. So yeah, that's I guess just some of the issues I have with your video that I wanted to bring up. Hopefully, I didn't forget anything. I don't know if I'm even going to send this to you, Caitlin, but if you watch it, just think about what I say. Once again, not trying to attack you or anything, just trying to give you a little constructive criticism and, give a little defense to the show that I think is underappreciated. And I guess one more thing I'll say is that I feel like your video kind of represents a lot of the problem that I have with this kind of, I guess I could call dog with a blog hate-dom. It's that I think a lot of people either judge the show just by the title or the premise or just by maybe watching a small amount of a show and not really giving it a fair chance. And I guess another issue that I have with your video is that even though you did kind of make a jump to give it a little bit more of a chance, you didn't fully do that. And I feel just having your video out there, once again a video called Why Dog with a Blog is Trash, it kind of just continues to spread that, not giving the show a chance attitude, which I don't think is a good thing. It's especially with a lot of Disney sitcoms, I think a lot of them can be more than meets the eye and can get better over time after the first episode. Raven's Home was another one like that. Didn't like the first episode. Rest season 1, not too bad, although I think it's kind of getting weak again with season 2. But, that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. Thanks, everyone, for watching. If you're watching this, Caitlin, feel free to leave a comment or something. Let me know what you think. Anyone else, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this video, Caitlin's video, Dog with a Blog, whatever. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you enjoy it. And I'm going to try to get that Out of Jimmy's Head review out soon enough, hopefully. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.